What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well today. And today we have what might look like a very, very ordinary CRF 450. It is not. This has been engine swapped. So although it looks completely identical, this actually has a CBR 1000cc engine inside of it. So I guess of a similar wavelength to that RMZ that I tried a while back. I don't think this is going to be quite as outrageous in terms of power. I think we're just going to have to work on our throttle control a little bit. Apparently it will spin a hell of a lot. If I go into the garage, however, if we go to the drivetrain, you can see in terms of its speeds, it's not too ridiculous. It does have a 6-speed gearbox, which would be quite interesting. I need to remember to try and use all 6 gears if we get up to that. But yeah, the RMZ before was just unbearable. And this one, we got 3 options, 130, 150 or 200 horsepower. Of course, we're going to max it out. And we're going to do basically what I've done for that RMZ video as well, is to just try it on a couple of different tracks and see how it rides and see if it's even bearable. So track number 1 that we're going to try and do today here is JV and Hell Machines at Hawkston Park, and let's just see how it goes.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
Oh my god! That sounds sick! Oh my god! Okay, limit not so much, but it sounds nuts. I'm a big fan of that. Jeez. Oh my. Oh, hold on, everybody. Right. I got to. Oh, she's. Oh. Okay. She's very, very lively on the rear end, as you can well imagine. Oh, mate, this actually sounds so nice. That even fires back as well when you let off the throttle too. So it's worth mentioning, this is created by Jet Black Priest, and it is an amalgamation of a couple of different previously existing bikes, but with a little sprinkle of his work on top of it. I have noted that in the garage it has standard mid-soft tyres, which I'm rocking right now, but then it also has some SM tyres too. I think it was originally listed under Bike Life, so it probably didn't show up on MXB mods for most people. But we do have it now. It'll be interesting to try it on some different tracks. And it's nice just comparing on tracks that I've already raced and know kind of how far you're meant to jump. And surprisingly, the suspension on it is actually working really well. And whilst it might be a little bit slippery, it's certainly not uncontrollable at all. It's like when the back end steps out, you can kind of steer with it rather than it just disappearing. Oh my goodness. I need to be very, very careful on this, like especially over some of these sharp bumps. Let's see how it handles this. Incredibly well. Why did that go so well? I swear that worked better than some of the outdoor suspensions I've tried around this track. Oh god. By the way, whilst I spin a lap or two here, let's have a little bit of a talk, boys, because I am well aware that my performances in terms of online racing recently have not been it. And I really think it does come down to a lack of effort being put in on my behalf and trying to ride bikes that are particularly slower than others and just trying to be a bit different. Now, I think you can still be different on this game within reason. There are some, I guess, like backup bikes, you could call them, whereas other bikes I just don't think are viable options, at least to do well on. Like, you can still qualify on them, you can still get inside the, I guess you call it the main, you still get into the motos, but in terms of a competitive aspect, unless you are absolutely cracked at the game, I think you will particularly struggle. So obviously at the moment we've got the KTM and Husky being the meta bikes. They are incredibly fast. Now, after I rage quit Thailand last night, please don't crash, after I rage quit, it's not Thailand, I keep saying Thailand for some reason. After I rage quit Indonesia last night, I hopped onto the KTM and I loaded up my suspension that I used at the last MX Bikes of Nations. So I think that's the only last outdoor setup I have on that bike. And on lap 1, I kid you not, I ran a I think it was a 140.7, which is quicker than my qualifying time. It would have been the quickest qualifying time on the track. However, you have to bear in mind that I did have like almost an entire moto's worth of practice additional, so take that with a pinch of salt. But it just shows how much of a difference there is. Now, I sat there last night with the KTM and done a bunch of testing suspension-wise and stuff, and for me, it still feels a little bit too erratic. It is a handful. So then what I did is I hopped back on the old trusty Suzuki. I hopped on both Argentina and Indonesia and Hawkstone, to be fair, this track, back and forth. And I sat there and I grinded for an hour. I worked on suspension back and forth. If I crashed or got kicked in a funny way, I went back into replay, saw what went wrong, went and changed it. And I'm at a place now where I've got what I call my base setup, which I will transfer from outdoors track to outdoors track. And then if any changes need to be made on the fly, then I will certainly do that. Reason being, I think this is the first year playing this game where I genuinely have to sit down, or I'm going to have to sit down and grind a bit, and generally put in lots of effort to try and get better at the game. Usually, I could just rock up on the day, rely on like race consistency, and get through it. However, I mentioned, so I saw a lot of people complaining about the Indonesia track. I definitely was not the biggest fan with how some of the ruts were laid out. I find with this game's physics, it's very easy for the side of the front tyre to grip the next rut over from you and yank your bars to the side and just tuck and you instantly crash. What ends up being the case is more often than not we're just trying to go too fast. Whereas if you slow down and don't lean the bike over as far, you don't have these issues. Now, with that being said, the game is faster now than it ever has been, ever. Everybody on it is extremely good. The bikes are very, very fast, the tyres are very, very grippy. And because of that, the pace keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And eventually something has to give. And in this situation, not only was it my mental state, but it was also just the bike's abilities to kind of go round some of these really narrow ruts at high speeds. I think sometimes it was based on a little bit of luck. You have to be incredibly precise, and it just didn't work out for me on that day. So what I need to do is actually sit down, put in some effort, grind, and I'm going to work on changing one or two of my leaning settings, because for Supercross, I think direct lean 100 is absolutely brilliant. It is great. I have the bowl turns and the 90-degree turns memorized. In outdoors, however, it makes it infinitely more difficult. That's not to say that you can't be good on it. Just for me, I think I need to slow things down a bit and make the bike a little bit more stable, a little bit more consistent. So I'm going to work on turning my direct lean down a little bit. I'm going to work on lowering my gain a little bit so I'm not tempted to drag bars in all the corners. And we'll go from there. Now, obviously, there's a week break for GP. We're not racing this coming Monday. We're racing the weekend after that. So I've got a little bit of time to practice and prepare. I'm going to miss the Supercross race on Friday because I'm going to be flying to Qatar. Well, I'll probably be in Qatar about that time, but yeah, I'm going to Qatar to watch MotoGP, which was my prize for coming second at the LAN event in Milan. And after that, full on grindage. Expect me to live stream some of it as well. It won't be multiplayer stuff. It'll be me sat in testing, working on suspension, working on just being smooth and fast and trying to get back to a good pace, because I don't enjoy doing poorly. Like, some people will be so happy with like a fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth places that I have been placing recently, but I'm not. I'm far too competitive for it, which is why I get very, very moody, because when you're used to winning in the past and then it kind of gets taken away from you and you're not even close anymore, it gets a little bit frustrating. I will say, because I saw someone commenting on the live stream once it finished and it was up, saying that all MX Bikes YouTubers, when they're streaming, they blame everything else other than themselves. And I would just like to say to that, we are people, we are humans, we're not androids, we have emotions that when you're doing a live event can sometimes be very, very, very hard to keep under wraps. And I think even the most calm of people can get annoyed with this game as well. And just bear in mind, when you have a couple hundred people watching you and you're expected to do well and you are underperforming, it's very easy to get annoyed. So just bear that in mind before you get too upset with us. And I did say at the end of the day, like, you're not forced to watch the videos or watch the streams. And if you're not vibing with something, then do feel free to move on and try and find something else that you do vibe with quite nicely. But yeah, that was not a great night's racing for me. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this bike would be a lot more overwhelming than it is. It is actually pretty controllable. Like 100% it's faster and it drifts so much. And I can see why on the bike life side of things, when you slap the Supermoto tyres on, I think them boys have a really good time with it, trying to work on getting it on the back wheel. But it's actually really bearable. And there's a part of me that kind of likes how slippery the back end is. Obviously, it's sliding because of the power and not because of the traction. But it does bring me onto the topic, and I know that the OEM guys are constantly working and tweaking on tyres and such, and I know they're working on stuff right now. I generally think we should have a little bit more slip in the game than we currently do. I know that it's a very unpopular opinion. I know everyone's going to be like, shut up, what are you talking about? You know nothing. And I think right now we've got so much grip in this game, which again is a big contributing factor to how fast everything is right now. I'd like just a little bit more slip, I think, just so all of that power on the 450s, for example, can't be put down to the ground. So it takes a little bit of time to build up your speed, and it just really focus on momentum more than just ramming everything as hard as you possibly can and whacking the power open. But I'd be excited for the game to just be reined back a little bit. Oh my god, that sounds grim. Not a fan of the limiter. I'll be honest, Jet Black Priest. The rest of it, I think it sounds absolutely sick. I love the backfiring. I love it as it's building up the revs. So yeah, the limiter is not it, but I imagine sounds in this game must be a nightmare to put together because you have to kind of link multiple sounds and blend them together at different RPMs. And big hats off and big respect for doing it anyway. Like the rest of it sounds nice. It's just that limiter for me is not it. But the bike it handles surprisingly well. I know I'm only doubling my way around a track here, and obviously Daytona's probably not the best idea of track to do because of all the chop and the bumps and like lighting up the back end, but it's actually been alright. I don't think I'm going to get over this. Oh no, we did. Okay. And then triple. Yes. Triple. Yes. Oh, a little bit short. We could have got that last one if I got that. It's quite odd as well, because I'm spinning so much, even in a straight line. When I actually get off the throttle, it kind of lurches you forwards a bit because it then digs in because I'm not spinning anymore. So it's kind of weird when I shut off the throttle, end up going faster. I have no idea what that crash was. Holy. I have noticed, kind of only over the last year or so, we have been getting more and more of these kind of like one-off fun bikes to use in the game. Before we wouldn't get anything, it'd be OEM pack only, but I think as more and more people get involved in this game and the game grows overall, you get more, I guess, talented people like have like a desire to make things better and create more unique, I guess, mods for us to use. And I'm so here for it. It's so nice and so refreshing getting to do something different on this game all the time. It would be nice, I might slide in Nico's DMs, or I don't know if anybody else has the power to do so, in getting this into the server listings. So I imagine even doing races on these bikes, whilst it might sound goofy at first, I imagine it's probably quite good fun seeing who has the best throttle control, who knows the best lines. I'd be interested to see how it rides around one of your standard tracks, like Forest, for example, just to, I guess, compare lap times. I don't think it'll be actually fast, just because of how powerful it is. I think it's more designed for going fast in a straight line rather than going fast around a track. Unless, maybe if you extend the gearing to like a disgusting amount and you just have the longest gearing on Earth so it doesn't spin as much, and then maybe just keep it in first gear the entire race. No idea. It'll be a good experiment though. I think it'll make for a good video at some point. Right, here we go. Triple. Yes. Triple. Oh my god, we're sliding. Triple. Yes. What is good, you can scrub this bike so hard because as you turn, the back end comes around in advance already, so you're already sideways. What if I try and play it cool a little bit and I'll put it on like 130 and then make the gear in a bit longer so it's not wheel spinning constantly, and see how this goes. We're just going to ride around Forest. Oh no, it is still sliding, so I'm going to have to be gentle. Let's see what sort of lap time we can do around here. Let's over the finish line nicely. Let's go up in just a high gear. Gentle. Gentle. Toss her down the hill. Yes. Oh, careful. Oh my god. Tap the throttle, tap the throttle, tap the throttle. So it's a little bit slow on the pickup. The acceleration isn't great. But then as soon as it just gets into that right rev range, the back end wants to light up on you. So I need to be very careful and just find... Oh, I have no idea how to survive that. And just find the right amount of power. It's like nothing. Go, 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 go. So just be careful with it. Let's be a little bit reserved. Up and over that. I love the sound. I really, really do. Like, it actually sounds so good. And then gentle around to the right. Was there sand in that right-hand corner that I've never realised before, never noticed? It sounded like there was. No, I think that's the sound of like the foot peg or the swing arm or even the forks, to be fair, like digging into the ground. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the collisions. No worries. Yeah, it's collisions digging in the ground. It's not the game's traction at all. I thought I was going mad for a second. So, I mean, a 107 is not too terrible for just trying to survive and get around the track. See if I can improve that. Gentle, 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 gentle. We're drifting. No, don't grab the map. Right, we'll try again. I have a feeling that that time probably... Yeah, okay. Does anyone else's Max HUD do this, like get a little bit boofed? If you don't finish at least the first sector of a track and you just reset and hit the finish line again, it just carries on counting time? So apparently this lap time has taken me 31 seconds to get to this point. I think not. I don't know if it'll fully update by the end or if it'll just not count it at all, but yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. That's happened a few times. It seems like the only downside of this bike is the front end can get a little bit tucky. Other than that, it is a really, really good fun. It's a laugh, and if you want something a little bit different, then feel free to give it a go. Obviously, the RM is a lot more powerful than this, but the RM is almost uncontrollable with how much power it's got. And I think it's because it's got such good traction. I imagine if these tyres had the same amount of traction as those tyres did, you'd be doing backflips on this bike just as easy as that one. But it's really, really good fun. And I think it's a job well done too. I've seen there's been a couple updates to it, like changing traction and such like that. And I definitely recommend you guys give it a go. Of course, I'll put it in the description for you. And I think because it uses the standard Honda model, you can put whatever paints you want on it as well. So if you already have a Honda skin that you particularly enjoy, then you should be able to copy and paste it over to this one. But really, really good. And if anybody is knowledgeable enough to make like random bikes like these, I have no idea the process that goes into it. I have a feeling that it is very, very difficult to do so. Then get creative, man. Like, I'm all for it. I think these are really, really good fun. And they just make online that little bit more enjoyable than just your boring standard races over and over again. So give it a go. See what you can create. And that'll do it from me for this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you could, just drop a cheeky little like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd very much appreciate it. And have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain, even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want.